Welcome back, everybody. Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. Sorry for the other 31 teams that now hate the Chiefs, but it is what it is. We're talking dynasty. But enough about the Chiefs. We are going to work on the car. It's obviously another late night here. Decided before I finish up the wiring and stuff, I kind of haven't found the right hose I wanted, so I decided I'm going to skip to the probably one of the best parts to do on any hot rod project. That is the exhaust. That is always one of the last pieces you put in before you're ready to fire it up. I mean, you can fire it up, open exhaust, but it's just too loud. I'm in a confined space, and if I'm firing it up, it's gonna be late at night, so I don't want to annoy the neighbors. But you get to hear that sound, that final sound that the vehicle is gonna make. And so this one's no exception. I want to get that exhaust on, and then that'll just let me do all the things I want to do without it being loud, annoying, and obnoxious. I'm gonna take the 4.6 catalytic converter white pipe assembly. We're gonna cut it apart, and I've got a universal 2.5-inch hot rod exhaust kit. I'm going to use that to modify and make fit so that I can use the catalytic converters and muffler that came with this kit. Put all this stuff together. It's not going to be show car nice, but I'm going to try to make it as nice as possible with what we got. I did discuss with the owner options on the exhaust and things like that, and probably the preferable way to go, since we didn't have actual lightning converters to go with it, would have been all new exhaust front to back, and we're probably talking $3,000 plus for either the manifold back setup. There's a couple different options, or even full-length headers all the way back. I mean, it's really expensive, and so for where he's at and for what he's invested in the project, he'd rather save that for a later time to save money right now. That way he can get some use out of it and not fork out that bill. So I'm going to get working on this. I have a friend coming over tonight to hang out and whatnot and see the project, so you may see an extra person in the video. His name's Jesse. He's awesome. But with that said, let's get into the work, everybody. All right, so working on these converters, I have the white pipe cut apart a little bit here, and if we look, you see that this has a curve to it. This is the passenger side converter. It actually needs to be basically straight on. So fortunate enough that the company he bought this whole drivetrain from, it was a salvage yard, and salvage yards can't sell used catalytic converters because any catalytic converter sold, mandated by the EPA, has to be tested that it's going to be good and functioning. So they can't sell a used one because it could be bad, and they don't want the used ones that could be bad going out into the market. So all salvage yards just cut off catalytic converters and scrap them basically because there's nothing else they can do. Anyway, so they did give us the basically just this portion of the converter assembly because it has an O2 sensor bung. That way, for any kind of swap vehicle, even if it wasn't going into a body style F-150, you can at least have a piece of exhaust pipe that has an O2 sensor bung in, so your primary oxygen sensors can work. So very fortunate about that. So one is straight. I have it hanging off the passenger side because I was doing a little bit of mock-up. And then this one's almost straight. It's got a little bit of a curve to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm not sure which was which, but what I'm going to do is cut this off all the way down here, because it looks like it could possibly need to just be a straight-on type of a deal. And then I'll possibly see if this one will work. It's basically what happened is the manifolds for the 5.4 and or the supercharger setup are different than the standard old 4.6, and so everything's just a little bit different. So I'm just trying to make do here to work. Again, we're trying to save thousands of dollars, not little bits. If this was a much smaller, just to get an OE style setup that'd be easily bolt in, we would have done that. But we're talking $3,000, $4,000 for a whole exhaust setup, new versus if I can make something work for now until we do refresh 2.0, we're going to do it. Because again, this truck hasn't driven in 2 years, so let's get it going. Alright, so this is now day 3 of the exhaust. There's only so much I can get done in a short amount of time late at night. Usually, I did get most of the exhaust mocked up. I have a basic plan of what we need to do. So the next thing I have a few more pieces to cut. And then this is the elbow off of the driver's side catalytic converter assembly. I just need to drill a hole in the pipe right here, and then this is an O2 sensor bung for the rear oxygen sensor to screw into. You need to drill a hole here, and then I can weld it in place. I've done this many times when I've had to do some custom exhaust work at work, basically patching in a section of rotted out exhaust instead of replacing a whole catalytic converter assembly. But that's one thing I'll have to do here is that, and then I need to cut a straight piece of pipe for the driver's side outlet of the catalytic converter to go in the muffler, and then I need to cut one of these pieces off one of the extras I have to go on to one of the converter inlets, and then I will have the right pieces to then start welding. That's the biggest thing I'm going to get done tonight, is welding up the entire exhaust so it's all there, all solid, all ready to go. And once that's happened, I'm going to fire it up before I leave tonight so I can hear what this beast sounds like fully hooked up. And I'm anticipating it's going to sound really good. So let's get everything lined up and start working. All right, so this is the afternoon on day 4. Spent a lot of time working on the exhaust this week. I really wanted to get it all hooked up so that I can bleed the cooling system and do those kinds of things. I was up till past 2 a.m. last night welding. I got most of the exhaust welded up. The top parts of the pipe are a little difficult to get to. I can get to them, but I would have to basically lay underneath it, let the sparks fall on me. I don't want to do that because I'll just ruin and burn the clothes I have on, things like that. So I got it good enough to where most of the exhaust is getting out. There are some minor leaks since the pipe's not fully welded, but I got it to where it's going to be fine. I'm only waiting on some hangers so that the exhaust will hang by itself. Right now I have it supported by some jack stands, but tried firing it up late last night. It was doing the start stall thing that I noticed initially when I tried to get it fired up, and I couldn't go to sleep until I figured it out. And while it was almost 3 a.m. last night, I found out that on this particular Lightning, since they use 2 fuel pumps in the tank, they have a resistor set up, and that just was not plugged in. That's actually mounted to the intercooler pump that we fabricated up, or that we found and did that. It came with a good resistor mounted to that plate, and that's one of the reasons why I had us get the used one, was because of that. I didn't know that resistor was for the fuel pump, but I knew it was going to be important, and sure enough, it definitely was. So I got that plugged in. I just went live for a short bit to show the owner it runs. It sure enough does. So I'm going to end the video with this thing firing up. There you have it. This truck's alive. I just have some wiring stuff left to do for the lights and stuff this week, and then I'm gonna get it rolling down the road. We're gonna start doing some test drives. There are a lot of little things that are gonna be left, but hey, that's it. This truck has reached a milestone, everybody. Like, follow, subscribe. I'm out.